Sean "Diddy" Combs, the renowned music mogul and founder of Bad Boy Records, finds himself at the center of a high-profile legal saga that has taken an unexpected turn. Following a mixed verdict in his recent sex trafficking trial, where he was convicted on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution but acquitted of more severe charges like racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking, Combs is now the subject of speculation regarding a possible presidential pardon. This development has sparked intense debate, given Combs' stature in the entertainment industry and the gravity of the allegations against him. As he awaits sentencing in October at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, New York, the possibility of clemency from U.S. President Donald Trump has added a new layer of intrigue to an already complex case. The trial, which captivated public attention for weeks, centered on serious allegations against Combs, including claims of orchestrating drug-fueled sexual performances known as freak-offs, as well as accusations of physical abuse and coercion. The jury's decision to convict Combs on the lesser charges of transportation to engage in prostitution, while clearing him of racketeering and sex trafficking, was seen by some as a partial victory for the 55-year-old artist. However, the guilty verdict carries significant consequences, with Combs facing up to 20 years in prison. His defense team has acknowledged instances of abusive behavior in past relationships but maintained that any participation in the alleged activities was consensual, a point that became central to their legal strategy. The prospect of a presidential pardon emerged as a surprising twist, with sources close to the Trump administration indicating that the president is seriously considering granting Combs clemency. This consideration was first hinted at during a press conference in the Oval Office, where Trump addressed questions about his past association with Combs. The two, both prominent figures in New York's social and business circles, share a history that dates back decades, with Trump once describing Combs as a good friend during a 2012 episode of Celebrity Apprentice. Despite their relationship cooling after Trump entered politics, particularly after Combs endorsed Joe Biden in the 2020 election, Trump suggested that he would evaluate the case based on its merits, stating that his decision would not be influenced by personal sentiments but by whether he believed Combs had been mistreated. Combs' legal troubles began with his arrest in September 2024, following a federal indictment that charged him with racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and transportation to engage in prostitution. The allegations, which included harrowing testimony from former partners and employees, painted a troubling picture of Combs' personal and professional conduct over the years. Witnesses, including ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura, described incidents of violence and coercion, though Combs' legal team argued that the prosecution overreached in its attempt to portray him as a criminal mastermind. The jury's mixed verdict reflected the complexity of the case, with the acquittal on the most serious charges highlighting perceived weaknesses in the prosecution's strategy. The possibility of a pardon has reignited discussions about Trump's use of executive clemency, a power he has wielded prominently in both of his presidential terms. In May 2025, Trump pardoned reality TV stars Todd and Julie Crisley, who had been convicted of fraud and tax evasion, a move that drew parallels to the current speculation surrounding Combs. Trump's history of granting pardons to high-profile figures, including rappers like Lil Wayne and Kodak Black, suggests a pattern of leveraging clemency to appeal to specific audiences or generate media attention. Sources indicate that associates of Combs have been actively lobbying the White House, reaching out to administration officials to lay the groundwork for a potential pardon, though no formal request has been confirmed. The debate over a possible pardon is not without controversy. Combs' conviction, while limited to the transportation charges, stems from allegations that have severely damaged his reputation as a music icon and entrepreneur. Known for launching the careers of artists like the Notorious B.I.G. and Mary J. Blige, Combs has been a transformative figure in hip-hop, elevating the genre's cultural and commercial impact. His business ventures, including the Sean John clothing line and Ciroc vodka, have made him a billionaire, while his philanthropy, such as a $1 million donation to a Bronx charter school, has earned him praise. However, the allegations of abuse and coercion have led to dozens of civil lawsuits, further complicating his public image. Critics argue that a pardon would send a troubling message about accountability, particularly given the severity of the accusations, while supporters contend that Combs' contributions to music and society warrant consideration for leniency. Public reaction to the pardon rumors has been polarized, with social media platforms buzzing with opinions from fans, detractors, and industry peers. Rapper Curtis "50 Cent" Jackson, a longtime rival of Combs, has publicly opposed the idea of a pardon, citing Combs' past criticism of Trump and urging the president to reconsider. Conversely, former Death Row Records CEO Suge Knight, speaking from prison, predicted that Trump would grant Combs clemency, suggesting that Combs' legal team might influence the outcome through strategic maneuvering. These contrasting perspectives highlight the divisive nature of the case, with Combs' fate becoming a lightning rod for discussions about justice, celebrity privilege, and political influence. Trump's comments during the May press conference emphasized a fact-based approach to the decision, though he admitted to not following the trial closely. His past interactions with Combs, including appearances together at events like the 1997 U.S. Open and a 2008 United Nations fundraiser, provide context for his openness to considering a pardon. However, Trump noted that their relationship soured after his political career began, with Combs making critical statements during the 2020 election. Despite this, Trump's willingness to look at the facts suggests that political strategy as well as personal history may play a role in his decision-making process. As Combs awaits sentencing, his legal team continues to fight for his release, recently requesting a $50 million bond that was denied. The conditions at the Metropolitan Detention Center, where Combs has been held since his arrest, have also drawn attention, with his lawyers arguing that he should not remain incarcerated for the charges on which he was convicted. The outcome of the pardon discussions remains uncertain, with the White House offering no official confirmation. Legal analysts note that a presidential pardon would only apply to the federal charges and not the ongoing civil lawsuits, which could continue to impact Combs' legacy.